India is enhancing its defense infrastructure and investing a great deal of time, effort, and money in ensuring that this happens across land, sea, and air. This is also happening at a time when our northern neighbor, China, has been shoring up its own defenses and further expanding its border infrastructure. It has become imperative, therefore, to ensure we are on our guard. What stands out about the recent enhancements to India's defense is the emphasis on Atmanirbharta. There is a strong focus on reducing our import dependence in the sphere of defense. We are among the largest arms importers in the world. Boosting domestic manufacturing is a priority area as a means of not just generating jobs but also reposing faith in our technicians and engineers to develop equipment using cutting-edge technology. Times Now's defense correspondent Shivani Sharma was in Jodhpur this week at the Indian Air Force Station to examine yet another significant step towards Atmanirbharta in defense.
Hello and welcome, I'm Shivani Sharma. As the Indian Air Force celebrates its 91st Foundation Day with the motto of Air Power Beyond Boundaries, Times Now gets you this exclusive report from Jodhpur Air Force Station, which is country's most active, strategic and important air bases. This not only guards the western borders, but is a base for major assets of the Indian Air Force. In this exclusive edition, we'll show you how the Indian Air Force is enhancing its might and prowess with the power of Atmanirbharta.
Our focus this weekend is Prachand, our very own light combat helicopter manufactured by the Hindustan Aeronautics Limited. This particular defense machine has been extensively tested by the HAL and stands out for its ability to take off as well as land at extremely high altitudes of up to 5,000 meters. Therefore, it could be a crucial element in securing our skies near the border with China and also with Pakistan near Siachen.
From the Jodhpur Air Force Station, we'll show you the world's most lethal attack helicopter that is made in India. The light combat helicopter Prachand, that means fierce, that has been made in India, which is world's most capable attack helicopter. This Prachand is the only helicopter in the world that can fly up to an altitude of 6,000 meters, that is 19,000 to 20,000 feet, and most capable of flying in the high altitude region of the eastern Ladakh. Last year on 3rd of October, 10 LCH were inducted into the Indian Air Force, and in 1 year they have been taking on diverse operations. We'll show you how these light combat helicopters are adding to the strength of Indian Air Force.
In fact, India has for a long time been seeking to build up its LCH capability. The Kargil conflict in 1999 was fought on high altitudes, and it was then that the need for an LCH was felt. Some of Prachand's features ensure that it is ideal for deployment in such conditions.
In last year, since its induction, the LCH has operated in diverse range of operations and terrain, be it the desert area on the western front or the line of actual control, the high altitude mountains. If we talk about the weight of LCH, it is around 5.8 tons, which is quite light than other attack helicopters of the world. If we talk about the design, it has a high flight ceiling, which gives added capability to the pilot, and the sleek design gives LCH the ability to fly easily like a butterfly in the high altitude region and sting like a bee. So this has been made in India by HAL, taking in consideration the needs of the terrain in India, the requirements of the pilots and the forces in India. So this happens to be one of the best attack helicopters that are made in India, and they are the most lethal attack helicopters, having the capabilities to fly in the high altitude regions as high as 6 kilometers.
And what's more, Prachand is likely to become a very prominent feature of our Air Force.
So far, 15 Prachand helicopters have been inducted into the services, out of which 10 are with the Indian Air Force and 5 have gone to the Army. But in the coming years, around 156 more LCH helicopters are to be inducted into the services, out of which 56 will come to the Indian Air Force and 90 will be with the Army. So this is the number of these LCH helicopters that will be empowering our forces, and it's being told that in the coming years further, around 300 of these helicopters will be there in the arsenal of our services. And after meeting the requirements of the Indian Army, Indian Air Force, many countries are also looking forward to procure LCH from India. So that's the capability of India of not only making in India, but making for the world.
The Prachand has been evaluated even on the borders with China, reportedly near the eastern Ladakh theatre in 2020. It has the capability of firing both air-to-air as well as air-to-ground missiles.
Now we see the LCH Prachand is being towed out of the hangar. It's getting ready for a mission. The mission could be any. It can be a surveillance activity, it can be a deployment along the desert area or high altitude region. So this LCH Prachand is capable of flying in any kind of terrain, any kind of weather. This has already been tried and tested in extreme cold conditions of eastern Ladakh, and it is capable of flying in hot summers in the desert area. So now we see that LCH is moving out of the hangar. It will get ready for a mission, and most of these missions are important and they can strike at any time. So the pilots of the Indian Air Force are ever ready for any kind of action.
So what are some of the most sophisticated features of this addition to our air arsenal?
Prachand helicopter is now all set for a mission, and this has a capability of flying up to a speed of 300 kilometers per hour. It can fly up to an endurance time of 2.5 hours at a stretch, and this helicopter has missiles integrated to it. The Dhruvastra missiles are also going to be equipped on this LCH helicopter. We have the 20 gun at the nose, the 70 pod for rockets, and this makes the LCH most lethal of all the attack helicopters. So it's taking multiple missions. It is a multi-role helicopter which is making the Indian Air Force's firepower stronger.
Shivani Sharma had the opportunity at the Jodhpur Air Force Station to interview and speak to the pilots who will be flying this marvel.
It's always the man behind the machine who's more important. And to know more about the role, capabilities and the challenges of the Prachand helicopters, I'll talk to the men who fly them, the pilots of the 143 helicopter unit. I have with me Wing Commander Sandeep Singh, who's going to tell us what's the role, the background of this unit.
Okay, so 143 helicopter unit, also known as Dhanush, was raised at Air Force Station Jodhpur on 1st of June 2022. The LCH was formally inducted into the Indian Air Force on 3rd October 22, and it was during the induction ceremony that it was named Prachand by Honorable Raksha Mantri Shri Rajnath Singh Ji. So the unit has a distinction of being the first, not only of the Indian Air Force, but of the Indian Armed Forces, the first unit to be equipped with light combat helicopter, which is indigenously developed. In addition to preparing the pilots to undertake all the roles assigned to this helicopter and training them, we have an additional role, a very important role, that is preparing and paving the way for induction of more LCH into the Indian Air Force. Towards this, we have already started training a number of pilots who will go on to become part of these new raised induction units.
So you are the first raised unit, that's why you call yourselves trailblazers. I have with me Wing Commander P.N. Joshi. Sir, I want to know about the capabilities. We call this the most lethal attack helicopter. What is the capability of this attack helicopter? How does it make it more lethal than other helicopters?
Right, ma'am. As the name suggests, light combat helicopter as well as Prachand. This helicopter is a light category helicopter and a multi-role attack helicopter. This helicopter was specifically designed and developed to deliver in high altitude. So If you talk about the capabilities, this aircraft can fire air-to-ground and air-to-air weapon, which includes air-to-air missile, rockets, and gun.
So can you show us while we speak?
So this helicopter is capable of firing rockets, air-to-air missiles, and gun. Here you see is the rocket pod.
Yes, sir. So this is the 70 rocket pod.
This is the 70 rocket pod, ma'am, right? And on outer pylon we can fit missiles, which includes air-to-air as well as air-to-ground missiles, which can be fired from this helicopter. And addition to this, we have a gun which is fitted in the front of the helicopter. We call it the nose gun.
This is the nose gun.
This is a nose gun, 20 cannon, and it can be fired from air to ground as well as from air to air targets.
So what is this electro-optical part, and what is the capability of this?
As I was covering earlier, ma'am, this is one of the capabilities of this helicopter, which is inherent part of any attack helicopter. So electro-optical pod is part of all contemporary attack helicopters, and this is primarily used for target acquisition.
So when we talk about the engine is the soul of any aircraft, and this is a Shakti engine, twin Shakti. What is special about this and how powerful it makes the helicopter?
As I said earlier, ma'am, specifically for high altitude capability, this aircraft was designed. So these engines were tuned specifically to deliver the required payload and carry required all-up weight and carry out the required task at high altitude.
And I have with me Wing Commander Sachin Sharma, who is with us to tell us the responsibilities and challenges.
So as far as the challenges and the responsibilities of the aircraft are concerned, I would say that since the attack helicopters are required to fly extremely close to the surface of Earth, the duties of both pilot as well as the weapon system operator have been well defined. So while the pilot flies the machine, the weapon system operator does the task of target acquisition. And as far as the weapon firing is concerned, it can be done from both the cockpits. So all in all, we can say that a good coordination is required between both the pilots, and this is what we specifically teach to our pilots in the unit.
So while the pilot is flying the aircraft, you decide which weapon is to be used according to the threats.
So that we do in our pre-flight planning, wherein the mission is planned. We see what is the target and what kind of weapon we can match to the target. So that is decided much before the mission itself. And yes, we can do the dynamic targeting also.
So how does it feel when you are operating the weapon systems of Prachand that is made indigenously?
Okay, so as far as the weapon systems of Prachand are concerned, the human-machine interface is really good. The switches can be operated easily, and that has been designed really well by the OEM.
So this Prachand, which has been made in India according to the needs of India, the terrain, the challenges of India, makes it more capable when the Shakti of Atmanirbharta or self-reliance, that confidence is there, because everything you see in this helicopter has been made in India. The weapons, the weapon systems, the pods and the gun systems that are being integrated into this helicopter. So that's why Atmanirbhar Bharat is portrayed beautifully when the pilots are taking on a mission on Prachand. A lot of dedication, training and discipline is required to fly the best helicopter of the world, and that's what the Indian Air Force pilots are doing. Let's talk to these pilots about their daily routine and how much effort they are putting in to fly this machine. I have with me Squadron Leader Anshul Jain, who is going to tell us about the daily routine of the pilots. Sir, a very warm welcome on Times Network. So what does it take to become a pilot of LCH? What is your daily routine like?
Being an attack helicopter pilot, it's not an easy task, as you can say. The day starts early in the morning, starts with the morning briefing followed by the mission briefing. Thereafter we fly the mission and come back with all the system debriefs and all. We collate the debriefs and discuss and take out the lessons in which we learn, as well as if required we might change our tactics as well. And being this unit, being the first LCH unit, apart from taking all the combat roles, it is also undertaking the training roles, and we all will be, you can say, will be a feeder unit to the further units of LCH. So the day working hours are quite long, and it involves day flying, night flying as well. So the day is quite long and it's tiring as well, but this is what it takes to be an attack pilot.
So So you're keeping the promises being made to the citizens of the country. You are keeping the borders safe.
Exactly.
And I have with me Wing Commander Tarun Daga, who's going to tell us about how does it feel to fly an Atmanirbhar indigenous attack helicopter that is one of the best in the world. How does it feel when you are flying this LCH?
It feels good, and to be honest, it is a feeling of immense pride just knowing that this magnificent machine is a result of endless hours of work, toil, and sweat from my brothers and sisters from this country, and we have this beautiful attack helicopter which is competing against the contemporary attack helicopters in the world. So I'm proud good man.
You are proud of flying this, and we are all proud of you, and it's like you. So when you are in the air, you're flying an attack helicopter, there's hardly any scope to make any mistake, and that takes a lot of dedication and training, and that's what these pilots have been doing out here. Complex missions and tasks demand a lot of coordination and discipline from the team, and the team of the Indian Air Force pilots, the maintenance staff, the ground staff is showing how skilled they are, how disciplined they are, and the kind of hard work they have been putting in to keep the forces strong. I have with me the team of pilots, the ground staff out here who are involved in the maintenance of the LCH aircraft, because it's important to keep the machine maintained because it should be ready, combat ready at any point of time. I have with me squadron leader Prachand. Sir, how do you maintain this machine?
As engineers and the maintenance crew of the newly inducted light combat helicopter, we serve as a major backbone for this aircraft. We ensure all the safe flying operations. As part of our duty, as engineers and maintenance crew, we do pre and post flight checks. We ensure that the aircraft is ready for all the war fighting missions that it has been tasked for. Also, since the aircraft is a cutting edge technology, it becomes a lot of challenge and our moral responsibility that we keep ourselves abreast with all the technologies and all the latest servicing schedules that are supposed to happen in this aircraft.
So a lot of training and studies also are involved in this.
A lot of training, a lot of hands-on experience that needs to be gathered in order to maintain this aircraft.
I have with me squadron leader Utkarsha, who is going to tell us how the Atmanirbhar content, the Atmanirbharta, the self-reliance gives an added boost and added confidence to the team, to the pilots and everybody who is associated with the LCH unit. Ma'am, a very warm welcome on Times Network. How does it feel to fly a self-reliance Atmanirbhar aircraft, and how do you feel associated with this Atmanirbhar?
This aircraft, LCH, is a shining example of the self-dependence of this country in defense sector. With the induction of this lethal machine, we are, as a nation, we are a part of a select group of 7 nations who possess the know-how of designing, developing and manufacturing of this attack helicopter. This attack helicopter is a cut above in all the performance parameters, and numerous mathematical models and modern design, critical technological advances have been used, like computational fluid dynamics, in the design and production of this aircraft by our defense PSU HAL. And this aircraft model has been tested in wind tunnels for optimizing its performance, and also it has been the composite structure. It has been developed in-house and produced in-house by HAL. So it's a huge leap for all of us in the defense sector, in the critical technology of defense equipment.
So you feel the perception of the world is changing for India?
Yes, definitely.
So this change, this transformation is being showcased in the prowess, the enhancing might of our forces, and LCH is a shining example of India getting Atmanirbhar, stronger, mightier. Be it the attack capabilities, the maneuverability, the stealth design to deceive the enemy radars, and multiple other capabilities and key features make the attack helicopter world's best attack helicopter. LCH is the pride of India indeed.
The Jodhpur Air Force Station performs some critical functions given the range of aircraft and helicopters it hosts.
The Air Force Station Jodhpur is a major base for helicopters of different roles and varieties. So apart from LCH Prachand, we also have Mi-17 helicopters and also ALH helicopters. helicopters. And also a number of fighters are also stationed at Jodhpur Air Base, which is important and one of the biggest air bases that guards the western border, that is our boundaries with Pakistan. And these helicopters have a diverse range of operations, from search and rescue to reconnaissance, surveillance, and also to secure the national borders where there are threats from the adversaries.
The Indian Armed Forces and the Defence Ministry have major plans to boost our defence capabilities. The Prachand is a vital part of that strategy.
With best combat capabilities, key features, maneuverability and attack capabilities, the LCH remains the best attack helicopter of the world that is made in India. And more number of LCH are awaited in the Indian Air Force to make it more lethal and combat ready. And apart from the LCH Prachand, there are multiple indigenous aircrafts that are being made in India, like LCH, LCA and ALH helicopters, that are adding to the strength of Atmanirbhar Indian Air Force. And this is how the Indian Air Force continues to touch the sky with glory and the glory of Atmanirbharta. This is Shivani Sharma with Vijay Mukesh Kumar signing off 4 times now from Jodhpur Air Force Station.